Mom. And what's coming next? A tattle. And then you have to hear his side, and then you have to hear her side, or both her side, or whatever you have. And then the next thing you know, you're in the middle and you're trying to figure out who did what, and you're the referee, and you feel like a volleyball. No, we're talking today about sibling rivalry. And I know this is pretty common for a lot of you. This is a little trick I learned back in the classroom, really. I don't have kids old enough yet to have this one play out in my house, but I can see it coming. So here's the thing. In my classroom, I did not get involved. And what I mean by that is when they have a conflict or they had a tattle or they had an issue, they knew they were going to have to work it out themselves. Or if they didn't, they were both going to have a punishment. And what's awesome about that is you're empowering them to learn how to get along without needing you every second. It's not a waging of words or of actions or of, like, they just learn how to resolve it on their own. So since it doesn't work with my kids, like the original way I heard it was told is like, oh, they each have to go pick weeds for an hour or whatever until they work it out. Like, no, but my kids are too young for that. But I do intend, like, pretty much right away, like if they don't get to the resolution on their own, then they're gonna have to come in and each give each other a compliment and move on. But for now, okay, so if you are having, a tattling situation or an issue, remember, kids were not born like knowing the basics of how to get along. Like, even if they are siblings or best friends, this is something we as their parents have to teach them. And it's not natural for people like, I mean, when you tell someone they have to share, they're in their mind, they're thinking, I have to give this thing away and I'm not going to get it back. So helping them understand, like, hey, may I borrow that for 5 minutes? May I play with that for 5 minutes? That's much more doable than, you have to share. So help them, equip them with a phrase or with a smaller concept, like more concrete of what they can do to get over that hurdle of just understanding what sharing is. Another one is win-win, like a compromise. They don't understand that. Like, I want to do this, she wants to do that. Well, hey, how about we do this and then we'll do that? Understanding, like, if one wants to play Legos and one wants to do a puzzle, like, oh, I have an idea, let's do the puzzle first and then after we can play Legos. Understanding that, with giving and taking, there's going to be a compromise in there, gives the child or the children really the opportunity to feel like their voice is heard and that they're going to have some power or some say in it. What was the other one? Oh, and when you're saying, you have to actually say to them, like, I'm not going to be the referee. I don't have my stripes on, my whistle, like, because what ends up happening is one person is overreacting and the other one's pushing the buttons. And so you end up, it's just a drama. So when you're teaching them how to get along, you're teaching them, did I say 5 minutes? Yeah. Oh, another one, please stop. I don't like that. Help them learn a phrase. I used to use that all the time in my classroom. Please stop. I don't like that. And they had to say it 3 times, not over and over, but you had to give the person a chance to stop it. If tattling is an issue, this was huge in my classroom. Like, we just there was no tattling. Like, they just knew if you come to me and you complain about someone, it's not going to work. So if tattling is a thing for you, if it's a frustration or if it's an issue, make a tattle box and teach the kids that you can only tattle on someone if it's something positive. So put a different spin on it. And, I'm writing this tattle, or I'm telling this tattle because I want to, recognize my sister because she helped me out when I, couldn't lift the books or whatever. Like, finding ways to help them lift each other up and take the focus off of the negative, the nitpicking, and helping them work on lifting each other up and getting along. And I mean, it always feels good to receive a compliment. Teach them how to flip a coin, rock, paper, scissors, like basic fun ways to kind of get around the main issue of, like, your turn or mine, I go first, no, me go first, no. Like, if they don't know how to flip a coin, have them flip a piece of paper, have them flip a pillow. Like, you can do so many different things. You can put your own spin or your own modification on, age-old things that you know of from when you were a kid, but help them to implement those and practice those and know that they can learn how to work these things out and that they don't need you for everything. And that will help them when conflict does arrive, because, conflict is normal. And if you're teaching strategies, and mind you, you've got to teach the stuff during calm waters. You cannot, in the heat of the moment, be teaching them about flipping a coin or, hey, may I borrow that for 5 minutes? So teach them during calm waters, have them practice, have them role play, be silly about it, make it a game. And then when the conflict arises, all you have to do is be the reminder. You have to just trigger a system that you have already put in place and that they feel pretty confident about because they played a game and they practiced with you. And then it teaches them how to resolve the conflict on their own and not get stuck in the nitpicking. So if you're saying to yourself, I know this is a parenting boot camp and it's so hard for us to stay positive when we feel beaten down. So if you're saying to yourself, if you're feeling overwhelmed, oh, they just don't get along because he's a boy and she's a girl, or oil and water, or two boys, or stop saying all of that and just know you can help them learn how to get along. You can equip them with strategies. You are the adult. You have the fully developed brain and you have control over how you let things play out in your house. And the better you expect of them, they're going to do better. When you call them to greatness, they're going to be great. And when they do have conflict, you know what? Sometimes it's not going to end so well, and maybe they both have a consequence, but in the end, you're going to see more conflicts resolve because you are helping them learn how to resolve conflict.